Tuesday was a tough day for the NBA family. We learned of the death in Los Angeles of Grizzlies forward Brandon Clarke. He spent all 7 of his NBA seasons in Memphis and was just 29.
On May 12, 2026, Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clarke was found dead at only 29 years old. Not long after the news broke, details surrounding the investigation included claims that drugs and paraphernalia were allegedly discovered at the scene. Now, before this video go any further, let's make one thing clear, fam. Authorities have not officially confirmed Brandon's cause of death, and this video is not here to turn assumptions into facts, just for engagement. But this story caught my attention because Brandon never publicly carried the image of somebody spiraling behind the scenes. Most basketball fans saw him as a hard-working athlete, somebody that stayed out the way, somebody focused on the game, instead of consistently being surrounded by drama. Today we're going to talk about Brandon's rise in the NBA, the pressures that athletes deal with privately after major injuries, and why situations like this continue to leave sports communities searching for answers. This is NotADrillTV. Welcome to the circle. If you here, then you already family. It's your boy Big Millie. We gotta have a real conversation. Because every time a young athlete passes unexpectedly, people immediately start looking back at their career, their life, and every detail surrounding their final days, trying to figure out and understand what may have been happening privately that nobody saw publicly. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let's get into it. So Brandon Clarke's path to the NBA looked completely different from superstar stories people are used to hearing. He wasn't entering high school gyms with cameras following him everywhere. And he wasn't one of those athletes being treated like a celebrity before college. Most of his basketball journey was built through patience, development, and consistency. After high school, Brandon attended San Jose State and slowly started building a reputation as one of the hardest working players on the floor. Coaches started to respect his energy. His style of basketball wasn't built around flashy moments or forced attention on himself. That approach eventually opened the door for a transfer to Gonzaga, and that decision completely changed the direction of his basketball career. At Gonzaga, Brandon became the type of player every serious basketball team wants on the court during important moments. Every possession looked important to him. During his time at Gonzaga, he developed into one of the most efficient players in college basketball. And NBA scouts started paying attention because his game translated naturally to winning. Fans respected him because nothing about his play style felt forced or manufactured. He looked like somebody that genuinely appreciated the opportunity in front of him and played every game with urgency. And honestly, those type of players usually earn long-term respect around the league because teammates trusted him. When Brandon entered the NBA draft, people already viewed him as somebody capable of helping the team. Brandon entered the NBA during one of the most exciting rebuilding periods in Memphis basketball.
Brandon Clarke from Vancouver and Gonzaga University.
Vancouver.
The Grizzlies were building around young talent, and Brandon fit naturally into their identity. Playing alongside John Morant and the rest of the young Memphis core created a team that quickly became one of the most entertaining groups in the league. Brandon became one of those players fans respected because his effort looked consistent every single night. Even people who didn't watch Memphis closely usually appreciated the way he approached the game. His teammates consistently describe him as humble, positive, and easy to be around. That reputation is why this situation feels difficult for many people to process, because public perception matters whether people admit it or not. When situations like this happen, people naturally look back at things that may or may not exist, especially when the person involved never publicly appeared to be dealing with major personal struggles. For athletes, their career depends heavily on movement and explosiveness. Achilles injuries can completely alter both confidence and also your momentum.
As the quarter ended, Brandon Clarke has a free throw. And watch this. He takes this lunge because he sees this miss. He takes this lunge forward, and immediately he tries to take a step and starts pulling on his hamstring and starts grabbing it. He has to be carried up.
When Brandon suffered his Achilles injury in 2023, the recovery process became one of the toughest stretches of his professional career. And injuries like that affect athletes far beyond the physical side of sports. There's frustration, isolation, fear never looking the same again, and fear of losing all your opportunity. Professional athletes spend their entire lives building confidence through performance and physical ability. Once injuries interrupt that rhythm, many players privately struggle with identity and uncertainty in ways that most fans never fully understand. Now imagine spending months away from competition while the league continues moving forward without you. The pressure affects different people differently. And sports history is filled with stories where injuries created mental battles that became just as exhausting as the physical recovery itself. The discussion surrounding Brandon's death became far more complicated once details connected to the investigation started surfacing.
LAPD confirmed to ABC News that Clarke was found dead from a possible drug overdose. Narcotics were found at the scene and there was no evidence of foul play.
As information surrounding the scene began circulating, attention quickly shifted towards questions involving pain management, substance abuse, and the pressures that athletes deal with privately. Again, it's important to stay responsible when discussing situations like this. Authorities have not officially ruled Brandon's death as an overdose, but claims involving drugs and paraphernalia being discovered at the scene naturally cause concern because professional sports has seen similar conversations happen too many times before. Athletes often deal with physical pain while carrying pressure to continue performing publicly at its highest level. And sometimes the public only learns pieces of their private struggles after tragedy already has happened. That doesn't mean assumptions should replace facts, but it does explain why situations involving young athletes tend to create larger conversations surrounding mental health, recovery, and coping mechanisms with professional sports. The response from teammates, coaches, and people around the basketball world revealed how respected Brandon Clarke was beyond the court.
And I've never seen Brandon Clarke in person with anything other than encouragement and a smile, man. And as hard as this is right now for all of us, you know, that young man maximized his 29 years on this earth. And job well done, young man, and the heaven is up there waiting for you with open arms.
After news had spread of his death, the same description continued appearing over and over again. Humble, respectful, and genuine. People who interacted with Brandon Clarke consistently described somebody who brought positive energy into locker rooms and avoided unnecessary attention. That consistency says a lot about Brandon, because sometimes public figures receive praise after passing simply because people feel obligated to say something positive publicly. But with Brandon, the reaction felt sincere. You could tell people genuinely respect him as both a teammate and as a person. A young athlete with a respected reputation, a successful career, and years of life ahead of him is suddenly gone. And their entire basketball community is left trying to process how everything ended this way so early. At the end of the day, the most important thing right now is allowing facts to come out before speculation completely takes over the conversation. A 29-year-old man lost his life, and regardless of what the investigators eventually confirm, the reality alone is just heartbreaking. Rest in peace to Brandon Clarke. Prayers to his family. And prayers to everyone affected by this loss. This is NotADrillTV. Welcome to the circle. It's your boy Big Millie, and I'm out, fam.